also, so we are not replacing this as the Senate liaison from freshman council. So there will still be someone there with like an actual role and giving updates, but you maybe see some more extra little faces. So please just be nice, and if they have questions, like answer them.
We yield our time to questions.
The directors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions for the directors? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Constitutional Council. Chief Justice Butcher, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, if you don't know me, I'm Elijah. I'm the new Chief Justice. I actually do have a couple things to report on. I went over the codes to find some non-substantial edits that we could do to clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to go over those super fast so you know what is, you'll have to vote on that so you know what the deal is, what we'll be updating. There's removing an indent in 5-1-10A, correcting inconsistent numbering in 5-1-10. The lettering and numbering is entirely consistent, doesn't go in order, it repeats itself multiple times. Adding a line break between lines in 1-3-17, adding just parentheses 5-digit after 5 in 1-30B, or 1-3-30, renumbering sections in 1-9-50 because they're missing, let's see, we're replacing 220 and 2-20 and 2-30 because we're missing several numbers, it looks like, and renumbering 1-9-110A because subsection 5 is missing, so we're just renumbering that. I'll be meeting with Mara pretty soon to go over my role to make sure we're establishing clear communication and all that kind of stuff. I've also nominated a judicial advocate and a bailiff to serve for Constitutional Council. I yield my time to questions.
The Chief Justice yields his time to questions. Are there any questions for the Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now hear a report from Speaker of the Senate, Maura Hamilton. Maura Hamilton, you're recognized. Hi everybody, I'm really happy to see all of your faces. I'm gonna keep this short because we have a lot to go through today, but I don't really have any major updates. I'm very happy with all the work that you guys put in this summer, very happy with all the work that you put in with legislation. I'm excited to see the pieces that are on the floor today. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'm very sorry I wasn't able to attend the most recent summer advisory committee. I was busy with recruitment, unfortunately. But with that, I yield my time to questions. Senator Wesnett. I added multiple additional lines. I added a new letter in the beginning. Yeah, I said that it's important in order to inform me beforehand. Almost every single time, if not every single time, one of you guys reaches out to somebody who's a member of our administration or our staff, it immediately gets sent to me, and then they ask me questions about like what this email means and who the senator is and things like that. So if you come to me beforehand, I'm able to just give you good contacts, and if there might be like some clarification or you might have some questions, I'm able to sort it out ahead of time. So it's just doing this to make sure that you guys are strong senators and you're able to get the right information from the right people instead of going in circles. Are there any other questions? Senator Lapsley. As of today, you mean? The codes were last updated in the middle of July. The Constitution was last updated, I believe, over 6 months ago because there have been no major changes. And the journals, I believe, are up to date. You guys did just vote and affirm that that journal was what you agreed with. So I would say yes. Okay. Senator Wesnett. Yeah, so the Google Drive is entirely self-run by me and members of my staff, and as such, it's subject to human error. I'm very grateful that you pointed out to me that the rules minutes were not available in there, and our Speaker Pro Tempore has done an amazing job at keeping track of these minutes and submitting them on the Garnet Gate. I was unaware that they weren't on the drive. I made sure to go ahead and remedy that, and if you go look at it now, it does reflect every single set of minutes that was submitted to my office via the Garnet Gate form. Senator Wesnett. Speaker Pro Tempore Miles. Are there any other questions for me? Senator Lapsley. the rules minutes. I don't personally go through and double check every single thing of minutes. We have 7 committees and a rules committee. They submit minutes every single week. And unfortunately, I do have to do like school and my job outside of student government, so I don't have all the time in the world. But to my understanding, I do trust my senators and my speaker pro tempore, so I would assume that they are up to date. But if there's any questions, you guys are more than welcome to come to my office, ask me some questions. Let's figure out if we feel as though there may be a discrepancy or something in there that's incorrect. I'm sorry, I'm gonna recognize Senator Hunter. Senator Hunter. My summer, my summer was good. I signed a job contract. I'm very excited to be staying here in Columbia. And I worked in an ICU, night shift. It was fun. Chairwoman Diapolito. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for me? No more questions. Seeing none, thank you guys. We are now in line for a report from the student body treasurer, Treasurer Ashley Reynolds, as well as Chairman Matthews. You are recognized. Oh, you want me to pull it up right now? Sorry.
Not updated, it's just say also Ashley Reynolds.
Welcome back, guys. I hope everyone had a great summer. I had a great summer. I was in Charlotte practicing anti-money laundering for one of the big financial institutions there, so that was a lot of fun. But me and Jack have worked really hard on this over the summer, as well as Finance Committee and that group chat with a ton of y'all, a ton of student org leaders. We've really worked together to come to this final product, and we're really excited to present it to y'all.
All right, well then I'll take over from here for a little bit. So basically the whole reason why that we are talking about this today and why we have worked so hard over the summer is because student government, you know, last year was extraordinary because we had $340,000 available for us to basically allocate to external clubs who request money from us, and it was fantastic. All right, that's a lot of money, and we could be very liberal with it. But unfortunately, our budget this year is being split with another organization, and we now are going to be down to 2022, 2023 levels thereabouts with about $185,000. And in the past, you know, we have used similar finance codes as what we've got now. We have run out of money, as you can see, very, very quickly. The green and the black lines are what I want to draw your attention to. We've run out money quite quickly before the end of the first semester by and large. And that basically means that if you are a club and you need money from student government in the spring, you cannot get it. And that is something that, you know, we are going to try to avoid in concept this year. So again, summarizing what's going on with the budget. We had about $300,000 last year. This information, actually what I had was wrong. We had $340,000 last year. And now we're down to about 185, and SOFAB, which you all should be aware of, but is essentially a similar body run by faculty for the most part rather than by students. And that money is available not only to undergrad, our money is available only to undergrad students in organizations, but that money is also now available to undergrads, to graduate schools, I believe to sports clubs, to law clubs, graduate clubs, all of that. So that money is now far more competitive, and because we have much less money now, our money is much more competitive as well. And so we have worked very hard to find a solution to make it so we do not run out of money quickly. We will be splitting the budget, I believe, into a fall and a spring. So once we run out in the fall, we will still have money in the spring to go over. But if we were to continue on the rate that we have been spending money last year, which is consistent with the years past, we would still run out of money quite quickly. My opinion is that, you know, I've been on this committee for over a year now. We will run out by October. Not great. So our solution is this. I'll let Ashley take over.
Sure. So first of all, for programs, which are our on-campus events, your tabling events, the things that you see going on around campus, if they request $1,500 or less, we're automatically considering that for full funding. So this won't touch that. And that is most of your smaller orgs, things like that, that don't don't touch the $1,500 mark. And then for conferences and tournaments, that number is $2,500. If you're familiar with the finance codes, I believe it's conferences, you can only request up to $3,000 per conference, so you're already pretty close to that line right there. And then for every dollar over is when this rubric hits. So if you requested $1,501, we're looking at your $1. We're not looking at your $1,500. So these are kind of the rubrics that we bounced back and forth for a really long time and came to the conclusion of. So for programs, which is on my left, these are the things that we will be looking at. So your physical location and student accessibility. Are you on campus? Are you off campus? Number of expected attendees. And this will also, we will be keeping attendance this year at our programs on campus. So on Garnet Gate, there is an attendance tracking section, so we can look on the back end and see how many people are actually going to these events. Learning outcomes met, and I'll touch on that one in a minute. Cost effectiveness, so how much money are we spending per person? Are you spending $300 a person for your event, or are you spending $20 to $50 a person for your event? And then collaboration, so are you collaborating with the university department, another undergraduate org? We will keep those things in mind. And then at the bottom, you can kind of see the breakdown of what we will be looking at and what you're eligible for over $1,500, every dollar over that. So you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think something that is important to add is that all of these criteria, besides maybe learning outcomes, it's all pretty subjective. So number of expected attendees, cost effectiveness, collaboration, physical location, all stuff like that, it is not really left to a whole lot of interpretation. It is just based on the qualities of the event itself. Learning outcomes met is an exception to that, but Ashley will go over that.
We'll get to that in a second. And then on the right, you see conferences and tournaments. So again, location, is it within the state of South Carolina? Is it within the United States? And then is it international? We've only ever dealt with one that has been international, so we don't really expect to touch that. Learning outcomes again, which I'll touch on in a second. And then cost efficiency again, how much does it cost per person to send someone to a conference or tournament?
Oh, I didn't realize you had that. I was wondering what was happening. Sorry.
And then the number of attendees as well. And then you can see the breakdown for that as well at the bottom. Anything for comments?
All right, so now on to what I will be introducing to the floor today. It was the rules, but I made a mistake in the code reference. Whoops. We are intending to codify this document that you all just saw. That rubric is a part of a larger document, basically explaining student government finance process. The rubric will be a portion of that, and we are intending to codify this document so that it is rewritten every year. Why do this, you might ask? Well, when thinking about how to fund some events fully and some events not, because we didn't want to just hit all events with like a 60%, funding eligible or whatever. We wanted to make sure that like some events would get funded partially, some events could be funded in full, whatever. How do you go about doing that fairly, systematically, transparently? Well, you gotta codify it. That is an opinion, in my opinion, the only way to do it within student government's current climate and the way that we are operating. This codification, in my opinion, will ensure a robust system is in place, and so that the committee can't fund one event in part in one event, in full without a method behind those decisions. So what does codification look like? It looks like a bill to implement the guidelines for funding allocation is what GFA means, and that's the document that I'm referring to. This new document will basically outline this decision framework that the Finance Committee will make in its meetings. The main points of this bill, it will make it so that the treasurer is the officer who will write the guidelines for funding allocation each year. And as we were discussing in our finance meeting back in July, we thought this was appropriate since the treasurer is elected to oversee this SG budget and represent students in related matters. The next major point is that the Senate Finance Committee must approve this document with a majority vote. This provides a great balance between the power of the treasurer and the Senate. So then you think, okay, so great, you've got this document, this is all fine and good, what if it sucks? Well, we wanted to make sure that you are able to revise it throughout the year, but then it's like difficult because how do you make it flexible enough to where you can revise it if there are problems, but not too flexible to where you can just change it willy-nilly in anticipation of one upcoming event or another. So this system of dual revisions is what we came up with. We have, first of all, we have a regular set of revisions available at the beginning of the spring semester with a simple vote of half of the finance committee in favor of. That is all that will be required, and it's not a crazy threshold to meet. This regular set of revisions is to be written by the treasurer. And then on the other side, you've got an emergency revision, which is available at any time, but with a 2/3 finance committee vote. And if you are changing the decision framework of how finance committee operates, that's gonna require quite a bit of support. 2/3, I think, would be generous in most situations. But if there is a problem, 2/3 is something that finance committee can get. And so that's where we are on that. And then another item here that balances between the treasurer and finance committee is that an emergency revision can be written either by the treasurer or any member of the finance committee. Sorry, put this down. All right, so what does this look like visualized? Well, so we are right here. I don't know if you guys can see my corner here, but we're right here where the official GFA has been submitted by her. In fact, it was submitted a few weeks ago, but it has been submitted. And then you're moving down over to finance committee review, ideally the following Friday. And then assume that is passed, you would not see any, new set of guidelines released until the following summer, when these guidelines are subject to a review period and can be completely rewritten and resubmitted to Senate every single year. Now I'll draw your attention to revisions. While revisions are available, a regular set of revisions is available at the beginning of the spring semester. And then finally, emergency revisions are available at any time, just with a much more difficult voting threshold. Okay. So, this is our goal. This is a set of graphs that were put together by members of the finance committee, and essentially it is a projection of how we expect this model to impact the funds throughout the year. As you can see, there are 3 separate lines. Those represent an amount of funds going, or amount of requests moving over to SOFAB, hence not being requested from our budget. We're expecting between 15 to 25% of our requests to shift over to them, and based on discussions we've had with Matt Hines, who is spearheading SOFAB, that is roughly what we're going to be seeing. And yeah, this is kind of what we're thinking of. Do you have anything to add?
I was just gonna add between the learning outcomes thing that I said I would touch on later. So it will follow the NACE competency structure, which is something that this university already follows with their staff and faculty. When they have to do program events, they describe the same things that we're asking the students to describe. So basically, in the Garnet Gate request form, we've come up with a new form, and when you submit, you'll see a section where you can put your NACE competency explanation document. So this is just like 2 to 5 sentences. What does your event have anything to do with one of the 7 competencies? There are things like collaboration, teamwork, oral and written communication, things like that that are kind of already included in a lot of our events. You'll just be asked to verbalize those and write them out. I think other than that, do you have anything to add?
No. Yeah, I mean, I guess just as far as logistics goes, this bill, I'm going to add it to the calendar here today. And if somebody wants to refer to committee so that we can review it on Friday, that is completely fine. But if not, I plan on adding it to the second calendar and putting it to a vote today so that we can have our system finalized by the first treasurer's workshop on Monday. Just so you all are on the same page with that. With that,
We yield our time to questions.
The speakers yield their time to questions, and thank you for reminding me, if you have questions, microphones so that everyone can hear. Senator Lapsley.
All right, quick question. You said it a little bit earlier, but I just want to clarify. So you said that Rules Committee reviewed this legislation?
Rules Committee did, but they denied it because I made a mistake in code reference.
Okay, what day did they do this?
That was Sunday,
They did this Sunday, what time?
5:30.
About 5:30? Okay,
Yeah,
so they
you were
went
here.
over it?
Hmm?
They went over it?
They did. Now, I had to go take pictures for something, but I was not there at the time, but they did go over it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. Student Senator Donnie wasn't there. No, UA Vice President was there. I wasn't there. So you said Sunday?
Senator Lapsley, this question has been asked and answered. Rules Committee met at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday in the LSC.
Yeah.
Senator Silkert.
Hey, oh my gosh, I miss you guys.
Me too.
Was the point system like kind of completely thrown out, or say if like boards conference fees were above $400, we could have like people in the exec board come to a Senate session or things of that nature that we're talking about with the point system?
No, that's all out the window.
Yeah.
This is what we're going with right here.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of issues with that one, and that's why we formed that group that talked and met over the summer. I think what we got now is a lot more comprehensive, is a lot more objective. I think it makes a lot more sense on paper than that, because like, how do you keep track of when people are where and whatever? So, yeah, that's gone.
And then what is the date and time of that regular
It's Monday at 4:30 in here.
Thank you.
Senator Wiseman.
Just for clarification, this was denied in rules, right?
Because of a code reference, yes.
Okay, so why did you just read it off, I guess, on the first reading calendar?
Because I will be adding it to the first reading.
But it's not on the first reading calendar as of right now.
Well, I can come up here and give an update on whatever, really.
Okay. And are you aware, did the treasurer here notify you and the finance committee of the audits that they were going to do to the supposed top 5 funded orgs on campus over the summer?
Was I notified?
Were you notified?
I was notified. I was CC'd on the emails.
What was your stance on these audits when she had notified you?
Well, listen, what I am in favor of and what you were in favor of last in April is that we need to make sure that these funds are being used correctly and that these funds are being used to benefit the students by and large. And that is our only real goal with this. I hope I've answered your question.
Can you answer it clearly? Is Uncensored America a top 5 funded org on campus?
Yes, sir, they are, and Ashley can deliver on that. There was, in fact, an issue in the ledger that was public last year. And I understand because I went through the ledger, and I myself was like, hold on a minute. UA is 6 or 7, depending on how you define it. The ledger's wrong. And if you need to meet with Ashley about that or with faculty about that, that can be arranged.
I will be recognizing Senator Spurgeon at this time. I'd also ask that senators keep the topic to what has been given in the update. Senator Spurgeon.
So it's talked a little bit about like emergency changes or changes after the first semester. What's kind of the plan look like for evaluating how things go?
For evaluating how things go? Well, so that's something that I had planned to discuss on Friday, but the goal as I see it is that we want to make sure that this money is gone by the end of both semesters, right? Like we're not supposed to be the gatekeepers of this money, but we also don't want to be so irresponsible with it that we are shilling it out so that it's all gone in October for the fall semester and the end of February for the spring. That would not be great. And you know, I think for one thing, if the money is either going, still being spent too quickly or not being spent quick enough, yes, we can, debate and maybe we do an emergency revision if that's what we think is necessary. On the other hand, if this rubric has some flaw in it that we just have not seen, then that's something else that we would look at. But that would quite honestly be a case-by-case basis, and if we need to make an emergency revision, and I don't think that we will, that is something that we will talk about in the moment based on events that I can't really stand up here and predict. So, if that answers your question.
Senator Kirby.
So for those of us that weren't part of the summer conversations, I wanted to know what were the general opinions
Well, in reaction to this particular model, it was by and large positive. I mean, do you have any, you were a little more in tune with yours than I was.
I think it was just a lot of collaboration. It was like 3 months of compromise, basically. We went back and forth, and finally, like, the general consensus was that this would
I mean, the model that we had at the very beginning of the semester was pretty unpopular. I mean, we had org leader Sid sitting in that section right there, coming up to me after that last Senate session saying how bad it was. And so, we have not had that kind of response to what we've got now, and I think that is a good sign. There were members of clubs who were involved in the destruction of this current model. But by and large, so far as we can tell, will have a fairly positive reception. Yeah.
Senator Wisnick.
So this question is targeted towards the treasurer. So, in your email you sent out to the top 5 boards July 21st, you threatened to revoke their funding for the physical. I want to talk to the treasurer, Jack Matthews. You threatened to defund them for documents that your office already has. Why are you requesting documents from boards that have done events here on campus? Documents that your office is charged with record keeping.
Well, for one, my office does not handle reimbursement data, and the documents that you are referring to are all involving reimbursement data and are held with faculty.
Law school?
No.
No, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. Unless I don't think so.
Awesome. Any
Yeah,
other
and like,
questions?
the law school, organizations under the law school can't request funds from our budget. They can from the new funding board, and that's partially why we felt pressured to come up with some way to make this money last. Because there are the money from that other funding board, SOFAB, has got so much, it is far more competitive. Far more orgs can request money from it. I think it's 50,000 has been requested from
Yeah,
it thus far.
almost a third of their entire budget has already been requested, and it's the second day of class.
Yeah, and not many undergrad orgs, so it's gone by. It's gone pretty fast.
Senator Ashmore. Granted. Senator Von Cannon. Granted. Senator Wisnick.
Okay, so y'all said the budget got split down the middle. One is for SG and the other is for SOFAB.
Down the middle, I mean, I don't know if I said that or not. That's a generalization. It's 185 us, 120 them. So bad.
And then how many orgs do we have on this campus?
Like 630 something, I believe. And I actually just went through all the classifications this past week. I think we're sitting at like 400 something for undergraduate orgs that we can request from us.
Did your office notify orgs of the opportunities of SOFAB?
That's not my responsibility because that's not my understanding.
Yeah, but
As of
they.
right now, only 94 orgs here on campus know about SOFAB.
It was sent out in every single LSC update, and it's posted on the LSC Instagram.
I received an email about SOFAB from, I don't know if it was Matt Hines' office or whatever, in my position as an exec in Delta Sigma Pi. So undergraduate work should be aware of it, and
But only 94 are aware. Only 94 attended the SOFAB workshops.
Excuse me, Chairperson Kobiak.
yeah, and there's a difference between being aware of SOFAB existing and going to the workshops.
Any other questions? Senator Lapsley.
So you did receive an email about the SOFAB,
Yes, sir.
and you said that is not your responsibility.
No, that does not fall under student government. That will rely with faculty in the
Okay,
student life department.
so that's on faculty
Yes.
for the new funding opportunity.
Yes, completely.
Senator Jacobson. Okay.
And if you have questions about your personal finances, please feel free to stop by my office. I'd love to answer your questions.
I just want to remind everybody that we don't do SOFAB. If you have any questions, please contact Matt Hines. His office is in the West Wing. He's lovely. He would definitely love to have a conversation with you about SOFAB. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you all.
We will now hear a report from the student body vice president. Vice President Jordan Richardson, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm so excited to see you guys. First few updates from programming. Just some reminders, Safety Week is from September 8th to 12th. Sigma Free Week is from September 29th through October 5th. Our first events are Welcome to Wellbeing, Safety Walk, and Pizza with the Pups is coming up. Be on the lookout for signups for Welcome to Wellbeing to volunteer and help out with them. And then Freshman Council, we are at 105 applications, which is really exciting as far. So huge shout out to Abby, Will, and the rest of my staff for all those applications. Applications are due on the 31st. So if you know any freshmen that would want to be part of Freshman Council or you think would be a great addition, please let me or our Freshman Council directors know. Thank you for everybody that came out to SU on the Street this past Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday, yesterday. We gave away all the Celsius and we helped a lot of confused people, which was really nice. Our next SU on the Street is a collab with USCPD to go over student safety concerns, which is really exciting. So stay on the lookout for that. Communications, so reminder, we are continuing the comms request form. So if you need any graphics, flyers, anything as far as comms, please go on Garnegate and fill out that form. And we ask that you guys give us 10 days before we can return that to you. Some analytics from our social medias. We have reached over 231,000 views this past month on our Instagram, and we have gained a total of 1,385 followers over the past summer. My goal this month, or my term, is 10,000 followers, so we're off to a pretty good start. Our TikTok page is also growing. We've gained 426 followers over the summer, which is really exciting. And the last thing I have, if you ordered a t-shirt, they will be coming in this Monday. So I'll be sending out stuff to about the pickup process. With that, I'll yield my time to questions.
The student body vice president yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you guys.
We are now in line for a report from the student body president. President Courtney Tax, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, happy FDOC. I hope you guys all had a great first 2 days of school. I know I have, including my 8:05 and 8:30. I just wanted to first give a shout out to Summer Advisory Council. Thank you guys for letting us have the opportunity to give a lot of updates during the summer. I do have a lot to report, but I don't want to go over all of it because it is so much. So if you do want to have like a very in-depth knowledge about all the things that have happened this summer, please reach out to Simone. She has all of the notes from every single SAC meeting, which kind of goes into depth. But some things that I do want to share that are starting, one is our car share program. I know I talked about this at the very beginning of Senate, or at the very beginning of our term. That has been approved. We have 10 cars that are coming onto campus, and I'm working with parking to figure out the launch date. As of right now, for a basic car, you can rent it for $9.75 per hour on weekdays and $13 per hour on weekends. If you decide to keep the car the whole day, it's about $77. If you like a bougier car, it's more expensive. Sorry. However, we're hoping that this decreases a lot of the congestion and allows more opportunities for freshmen that do not have cars on campus. Freshmen, basically all students, including graduate students. So if they don't have a car on campus, they can take it off campus. And then if you do want to partake in this program, the sign up is actually going to be free for 1 year. So the registration fee is typically $25, that's getting waived. So if you are interested, feel free to sign up. Some updates on our after hours shuttle. We're actually only gonna do it on Friday and Saturday now. We were finding that the on-demand shuttle was getting more usage on Thursdays. And I wanna make sure that we are providing resources for students that they would like to use. So we have been getting good numbers for Friday and Saturday, and there's gonna be a new drop-off location in Greek Village instead of 650, so you don't have to reroute it when Colonial Life has events, because we were finding that it was a little inconsistent. This is going to revise that a little bit. My last thing for parking, which is a benefit for y'all too, is Bull Street Garage 3, where the faculty typically park, so the garage right before the hourly parking. The gates are gonna be up at 5 p.m. for any student that has a parking pass anywhere. It's basically gonna turn into an AD lot, and we're hoping that if you guys do have initiatives, past 5 p.m., it can increase student engagement because parking is not a concern of theirs. And then Uber discounts. We have $35,000 going into Uber discounts this year, so there will be Uber discounts for every single home game again. And we're doing the 2 drop-offs, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. If you do get an Uber discount in the afternoon, you will take the shuttle to 650 lot, and your Uber will pick you up from there. If you decide that your Uber is going to go to the stadium, you will be waiting for forever. So I highly recommend you take the shuttle to 650. I don't want to know where you go after that, but you can take the Uber from there anywhere. Some really exciting things that came out of SEC Exchange is we are launching a SEC-wide campaign called SEC You Mean More. It's a mental health campaign. USC is tasked with actually putting the video together, so we are calling on our student affairs comms team to help. But I'm incredibly excited for this. We will be creating a video, and we're hoping that it gets brought up to the actual SEC level. That will be dropped right before the SEC championship and finals, so we know that that's a stressful time for students. And we're also providing a link tree of every single SEC school and the mental health resources that are at every SEC school. With athletics, changing gears completely, with athletics, I've been working with them and the Alumni Association. We are going to be doing 2 student tailgates. The first, and thank you, Senator Lewis, for your legislation. This is what kind of generated the idea, so we're very appreciative of you. We are going to be doing one during Alabama, which is our homecoming game. And this is going to be specifically for student leaders. So it's going to be everybody in student government and student leaders across campus to engage with previous student leaders. It's also an opportunity for the Alumni Association to work with you guys and get you guys engaged. We're then going to be having a second one for Coastal Carolina, and that's going to be open to all students. So very excited about both of those. A little side note for the Alumni Association, they launched a program called the Future Alumni Network. It's $40 for all 4 years that you're in college, and you get free access to all of the Alumni Association tailgates. You get a tumbler, you get 20% off at Adams, and more. So I think it's a really great thing to invest in. I know I'm doing it even as a senior. And something that athletics told me today, I have a lot more cool information coming next week. They're just finalizing it, but they will be giving out Gatorade powder with all of the water bottles that we hand out this year. So I'm hoping that it gives our students some electrolytes when they go into the stadium. Some things with infrastructure. We do have a new dining facility downstairs. It seats 500 more students. That is basically our all-you-can-eat dining hall, and then upstairs has turned into 6 retail spots. Word on the street is that there's a boba place going in there, so very excited about that. We also have a lot of new Wi-Fi renovations in the Close Hip Gambrel and T-Coop library. If you look up, I don't know if we do have some, no we don't. But if you look up, there's some white squares. They've increased those, they've tripled them in all of the buildings to reach more students and student devices. So you should be seeing a massive increase with that. Additionally, one of the big things that I've been working on is really building connections with our system schools. I do represent them on the Board of Trustees, so I am actually going to visit every single system school. I'm going to meet with their student body president and their administration to ensure that I am advocating for them. Also, it's going to really build relationships for Carolina Day, so I already have one scheduled with Aiken and Sumter, and I'm working with USC Beaufort right now. So very excited about that. I've also, one of the big things I've been working on with the president this summer is Imagine Carolina. That'll be September 21st, which is a Sunday. We've been working on schedule and finalizing this, but it's really an opportunity to express what you imagine Carolina to be like in the future. I will say that the last Imagine Carolina, they heavily talked about advising and Wi-Fi, and those were 2 things that the president put so much emphasis on to create the undergraduate advising center and so much more. So what you say in there really does matter, and he listens. An opportunity for student government in that is actually to be a note taker. We find that students are more likely to be open when other students are in the room, so we don't want to put a faculty member in there taking notes. So if you are interested in being a note taker in Imagine Carolina, please let me know. And then just a reminder that Cabinet is 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. I gave them yesterday off to just regroup and get into the school year and get settled, but we will be in the SEC room if anybody would like to attend. And then additionally, Jack Hensley is my Director of Legislative Affairs, yes. Director of Legislative Affairs. Sorry, there's so many names. But he really is my glue between me and you. So I really want to help you in any way that you possibly can. So if you guys have any initiatives that you want cabinet to work on, please reach out to Jack. And if my cabinet members have anything that they would like to work on, especially my GR members, if they have anything that they would like to work on, I will be going through Jack to communicate with you guys. So I think those are all of them. There's so much more. But if you would like to read that, Simone has all of those reports. Thank you so much, Simone. With that, I yield my time to questions.
The student body president yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President regarding the application of Jacob Sheridan to the position of Student Senator.
To amend that is a communication from my office, not the student body president. The nominee is referred to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Constitutional Council regarding edits to the student government codes.
Point of information, this is all found in the memos folder under Constitutional Council. So the question is of the approval of non-substantial edits to the codes. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Excuse me? Sure, that's fine. The clerk will call the roll. Please say aye in the affirmative of the passage of non-substantial edits and nay in the denial of non-substantive edits.
Aloco, Anderson, Ashmore, Baldinger, Brazier, Costello, Coulomb, Koviak, Creedon, Humby, Papalito, Davis, Dorsey, Dorsnowski, Erler, Freer, Fry, Goffin, Gay, George, Gopal, Hopkins, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, Lopsley, Lewis, Matthews, Miles, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Schmidt, Spurgeon, Silkert, Tapia, Talaka, Violet, Von Cannon, Walker, Wizenet, Watley.
By a vote of 42 ayes to 2 nays, the non-substantial edits to the codes have passed. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read. Seeing no more special orders of the Senate, we are now in the motion period. Are there any motions on the floor at this time? Chairman Matthews. Right. Okay. There's been a motion to table SBL 11731 indefinitely. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11731 is tabled indefinitely. Chairwoman Anderson. The question is of the confirmation of the candidates to the position of student senators. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Senator Lapsley?
This vote is to confirm Senator Pickford.
And Senator Mwakapusia, correct.
He wasn't sworn in last session.
He was not sworn in, or records do not indicate so in the journal, and he also personally stated he was not sworn in approximately 40 minutes ago.
So he did not partake in a vote last session.
Last session?
Yeah, he did not partake in voting last session.
I do not believe so. Senator Wisnett. Continue, Senator Wisnett. All right. There's been a motion to add SBL 117XX entitled "A Bill to Ensure Funds Support Student Events Not Free Merchandise" to the first reading calendar. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is assigned to the first reading calendar and granted the legislative number of SBL 11745. Chairwoman Anderson. We have to redo that vote because it was interrupted by a motion. Chairwoman Anderson. There's been a motion to confirm the candidates to the positions of student senators. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The candidates are confirmed. Chairwoman Anderson. There's been a motion to suspend the rules to allow the newly sworn-in senators to come down and take their oath of office. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are now suspended. Y'all can come on down and take your oaths of office. Sorry. Y'all can just come stand like right up here. Over here. Yes, correct. All right, they're gonna get sworn in, and it's Chief Justice Butcher's first time. Yay!
I, David. Wait, I, David Wakabusi, do solemnly.
Excuse me. They're taking their oaths of office.
Yeah.
All right, and now y'all can take your seat among the body. Is there a motion to restate the rules? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are now reinstated. Senator Hunter. Granted. All right. Senator Matthews. All right, there's been a motion to add SBL 117XX, a bill to implement the guidelines for funding allocation, to the first reading calendar. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is added to the first reading calendar and granted the legislative number of SBL 11746. Chairwoman Diapolito. All right, 46. I do not believe there is a 46 at this time. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I don't have it written down. There's been a motion to table SBL 11746 indefinitely. Is there a second? SBL 11746 is entitled "A Bill to Implement the Guidelines for Funding Allocation." Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is tabled indefinitely. Chairwoman Diapolito. There's been a motion to untable SBL 11746 and place it on the second reading contested calendar. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11746, a bill to implement the guidelines for funding allocation, is now placed on the second reading contested calendar. Chairwoman Diapolito. There's been a motion to add SBL 117XX entitled A Bill to Revise the Freshman Council Selection Process to the first reading calendar. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is added to the first reading calendar and granted the legislative number of SBL 11747. Chairwoman Hopkins. There's been a There's been a motion to remove Chairwoman Hopkins from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The Chairwoman is removed. We just voted for no reason. My bad. Chairwoman Anderson. There's been a motion to remove Chairwoman Cumby from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Anderson. There's been a motion to remove Chairwoman Anderson from the Academics Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Diapolito. There's been a motion to remove Chairwoman Diapolito from the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Chance. There's been a motion to remove Senator Chance, that's not your last name, I was going to say, Violette, from the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Colon. There's been a motion to remove Senator Colon from the Judiciary Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Lapsley. Oh, when you're standing, that typically signifies you're looking to be recognized. Are you not? Okay, yeah. Just so you guys know, I like to work in a systematic manner to make sure that everybody is recognized, starting from the first row and working my way back. Senator Wisnett. There's been a motion to add SBL 117XX to the first reading calendar, a recommendation to suspend the Jesse Pinkman conglomerate for obtaining funds from the Undergraduate Organizational Fund under false pretenses. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Mhm. Yes. So the question is of adding SBL 117XX, a recommendation to suspend the Jesse Pinkman conglomerate for obtaining funds from the Undergraduate Organizational Fund under false pretenses to the first reading calendar. A vote of aye in the affirmative means that you would like this legislation to be on the first reading calendar, and a vote of nay is that you would not like this to be added to the first reading calendar. The clerk will call the roll.
Aloco, Anderson, Ashmore, Baldinger, Brazier, Costello, Colum, Koviak, Creedon, Cumby, Apolito, Davis, Dorsey, Dorsnowski, Erler, Freer, Fry, Govan, Gay, George, Gopel, Hopkins, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, Lapsley, Lewis, Matthews, Miles, Wakapusia, Pickford, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Spurgeon, Silkert, Tapia, Talaka, Violet, Von Cannon, Walker, Wiseman, Watley,
By a vote of 35 nays to 9 ayes, the motion has failed. Are there any other motions on the floor at this time? Senator Lapsley. At, sorry, just looking. We've got a lot. As 39, correct? Okay. There's been a motion to add Senator Lapsley as a co-sponsor to SBL 11739, a bill to promote student engagement at the start of the academic year. Does the sponsor find this friendly or unfriendly? All right, all those in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it, Senator Lapsley is added as a co-sponsor. Chairman Matthews. Okay. There's been a motion to add Senator Matthews as a co-sponsor to SBL 11740. Does the sponsor find this, 39. Does the sponsor find this friendly or unfriendly? All right, all those in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it, Senator Matthews is added as a co-sponsor to SBL 11739. Are there any other motions on the floor at this time? Senator Pigford. There's been a motion to remove Senator Pigford from the Academics Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other motions? Senator Pigford. There's been a motion to remove Senator Pigford from the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Collum. There's been a motion to remove Senator Collum from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator, remind me your last name. Tapia. There's been a motion to remove Senator Tapia from the Academics Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Can someone in my staff please check quorum of academics? Academics, I love you, I promise. It's all why we're here. We pay money to get our academics. Any other motions while we're waiting on the quorum check? Okay. Senator Pigford. There's been a motion to add Senator Pigford to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Wisenet. Granted. Anybody else? Any more motions? Senator Walker. Granted. Do you need a new placard? Okay. No, it's okay. I'm just ordering new ones later, so. Okay. Any other motions on the floor at this time? Okay. Seeing no more motions, is there a motion to dispense of this motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Is there a motion for a 3-minute recess? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We're reconvening at 51. Can I have somebody go out and check if there's any senators out there? Thank you. Yeah, well. We're good? Okay. We're gonna do a roll call attendance, unfortunately, just to ensure everyone is here. The clerk will call the roll.
Aloco. Anderson. Ashmore. Baldinger. Brazier. Costello. Colum.
Can somebody please contact Senator Colum and let him know we're back in session? Thank you. Okay, maybe don't contact him then.
Koviak.
I'll give them a sec. We're just doing roll call vote to see who's missing, so let's just continue for now and see if they make it back.
Creedon. Cumby. Topolito. Davis. Dorsey. Dorsnowski. Erler. Freer. Fry. Govan. Gay. George. Gopel. Hopkins. Hunter. Iftikhar. Jacobson. Cassetti. Keenan. Kern. Kirby. Lopsley. Lewis. Matthews. Miles. Wakapusia. Pickford. Sams. Sanders. Santiago Cedillo. Spurgeon. Silkert. Tapia. Talaka. Violet. Von Cannon. Walker. Wisenant. Watley.
Was there any changes? Just Senator Colum. Oh, and he's here. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So at this point, we are on the first reading calendar. Just so we're all up to speed, I want to make sure everybody has access to all the information that they possibly need. Everything that went through rules and was approved is going to be in the introduced legislation folder. It's possible that the piece that we tabled indefinitely may still be there because I am up here and I cannot move that. You can just ignore it. The pieces that were introduced onto the first reading calendar are probably in a folder called pending legislation. Please refer to their titles. If you're having trouble, please let me know. I just don't want to waste our time with me going back there. Senator Lapsley. You've already asked this question. It's been answered multiple times. Sunday. Chairwoman Diapolito. Right. Anything else? Senator George. Right. There's been a motion to appoint Senator Colum as Senator George's proxy. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Right. Senator George. Granted. Senator Von Cannon. We have exited the motion period. Is there something specific you were looking to? Is it okay if we do that next week so we don't have to go back into the motion period? Okay, that's fine. I'm sure that Chairwoman Anderson will excuse you. We would have to do 4 motions to get back into the motion period and back out, so. All right. Anything else? Okay, into the first reading calendar we go. Oh, just a reminder, if you left committees, you gotta remove yourself from the group me. Okay. We are now on the call of the introduction of new legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 11732, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to transition USC dining from plastic to paper and sustainable utensils.
Senator Lewis, you are recognized to speak on this legislation. Yeah, that's from Russell House, not us. You're good.
Which one is it?
SBL 11732, a recommendation to transition USC dining from plastic to paper and sustainable utensils.
Yeah, so basically this is a recommendation asking USC Dining to find some kind of reusable materials in our dining rooms. You know, we all want this plant to last a lot longer, and if we cut down our plastic waste, I think that'll help. You know, some of the things that we need to think about is that over the summer, they did a data research and looking into that, programs of like that and finding things about that. And I actually talked with someone at USC Dining, and I told them I don't want a paper straw that's gonna make my mouth taste nasty. It's gotta be high quality, you know, paper straw. So they're gonna look at all things like that, napkins, you know, forks, straws, things like that. I'm asking for them to do to continue the research, and let's get moving forward to transition to something and make sure we're sustainability, because, you know, they expanded our new green initiative project. They're asking the organizations to do it. So I think if they're asking us to do it as students, they should start by doing it first and making their dining room sustainability first. And with that, I yield to questions.
Is there a motion for a brief recess? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We are now in a brief recess. Thank you. And then if we're missing any friends, can you please get them back here right now? Please, thank you. And just to like clarify, at this point, I have not banged my gavel. We are not in official Senate. We are just friends talking in a room.
Anderson,
Can somebody please get her back? Thank you.
Ashmore, Baldinger, Brazier, Costello, Colum, Koviak, Creedon, Cumby, Napolito, Davis, Dorsey, Dorsnowski, Erler, Freer, Fry, Goffin, Gay, George, Gopel, Hopkins,
Okay, please get her back.
Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, Lapsley, Lewis, Matthews, Miles, Wakapusia,
If somebody could please get him back. Thank you.
Hickford, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Spurgeon, Silkert, Tapia, Talaka, Violet, Von Cannon, Walker, Wiseman, Watley,
So who is not here at this time? Can somebody please get who? Senator Walker back, if somebody has her phone number. And Senator Wakapusia. Thank you. And just a reminder for our Russell House workers, we're like still in recess, so like this is not
call vote to ensure quorum. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson, Ashmore, Baldinger, Brazier, Costello, Holum, Koviak, Creedon, Cumby, Doppolito, Davis, Dorsey, Dorsnowski, Erler, Freer, Fry, Goffin, Gay, George, Gopel, Hopkins, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, Lapsley, Lewis, Matthews, Miles, Wakapusia, Pickford, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Spurgeon, Silkert, Tapia, Talaka, Violet, Von Cannon, Walker, Wisenan, Watley.
Okay, seeing as quorum has not been met, is there a motion to adjourn? We don't have quorum, so you have to say so moved. Is there a second? Yes. No,
What rule is stating that because we're not meeting quorum, all of a sudden, because we just got back from a recess, what rule is stating that we can't continue to come back from a recess?
well, quorum's a majority vote in senators, and we can't go over anything to vote without majority met. Majority. And it's 29, we only have 8 people, so we need 21 more people here.
I yield.
Is there a second? Sorry, guys. Okay, seeing no objections, this session is now adjourned until next week, Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. So good night, everybody.